Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students of 8th class, Assalamu alaikum. Aziza Fatima, your English teacher, welcomes you to the YouTube channel of Multan Public School and College for Boys and Girls. Today we are going to read chapter 7, Clever Mirchu, from your textbook at page number 38. Clever Mirchu is a narrative writing, means a story with its beginning, middle, and an end. Now look at the picture. Can you predict the story by looking at the title and the picture of the story? How many characters do you see in the picture? Yes, 9 characters. 7 children. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. A woodcutter and his wife. How do you come to know that the man is a woodcutter? Yes, because you can see an axe in his hand. The scene is in the jungle. 6 children are busy in cutting branches, tying them up, tying them into small bundles and carrying them while the 7th one is noticing his parents who are sneaking away, means going away quietly while their children are busy in their work. Let us read the story. A woodcutter and his wife lived in a village. They had 7 children, all of them were boys. The woodcutter and his wife were so poor that at times they did not know where to get money to buy food for their children. The children were growing so fast that they always felt hungry. The youngest son, however, was the one who caused his parents the utmost anxiety, maximum worry, maximum tension. It is true that he did not eat much, but this was because he was so small. Indeed, when he was born, he was only the size of a pepper. Pepper means kali mirch. And that was why he was named Mirchu. Now look at the question, why was the youngest boy called Mirchu? Question, it is a WH question. Why means you have to write the reason and you have to write it in past tense. Remember that you are not going to start your answer with because. You have to start, the youngest son was called Mirchu because he was only the size of a pepper. Next, third paragraph. Once it happened that there was no rain for months on end. A great famine spread across the land. What is famine? Lack of food. Kahat. A great famine spread across the land, and the woodcutter soon had nothing to give to his family. Now look at the question, why there was nothing to eat. Why, you have to tell the reason. Was, you have to write answer in past tense. There was nothing to eat because a great famine spread across the land and the woodcutter soon had nothing to give to his family. Up till here, all the savings were gone and there was nothing left to eat. We can no longer feed our children, the woodcutter told his wife one night as they sat beside the empty hearth. What is hearth? A fireplace or oven. It was empty because they had nothing to cook. When the boys get up in the morning for their breakfast, there is nothing for them to eat. My dear, there is only one thing that we can do. So he made a plan. We must take them into the forest and leave them there. Maybe some rich man finds them and takes them home. I'm sure that he will take better care of them. The poor wife cried and cried. She wept bitterly. She was so full of sorrow, full of sadness to hear this. But at last, as the night wore on, as the night passed gradually, she agreed to her husband's plan. After all, she could not see her children die of hunger. She thought and thought, but no other plan came to her mind. She wished she had only 3 children instead of 7. They could have been few fed well, sorry. They could have been fed well and brought up nicely. Look at the question. What did the woodcutter's wife wish for? WH question. Then C did and as helping verb and wish main verb. And we use did and first form of verb in past indefinite tense. So in answer, you will write second form of verb wished. You can start your answer from the woodcutter's wife wished she had only 3 children instead of 7. They could have been fed well and brought up nicely. As the woodcutter and his wife argued when fought, they were giving arguments. They raised their voices. The little Mirchu heard every bit of what they said. So the little Mirchu, he heard every word they said. Unlike his brothers, he was not asleep. For a long time, he lay thinking what would be the best thing to do. As soon as it was twilight, twilight is faint half light before sunrise or after sunset. He got up quickly and crept out and moved out quietly of the cottage, and off he ran to the forest. What he did there? He filled his pockets there with small white stones. Can you guess why did he fill his pockets with white stones? Remember Hansel and Gretel, that a storybook that you have read in your childhood. Then he ran back to the house and was in bed again, all quiet and all silent and pretending to be fast asleep when his mother called him. Question: what did Mirchu fill his pocket with? Notice did and fill. Past indefinite tense. In answer, you will write second form of verb filled. You can start your answer. Mirchu filled his pocket with small white stones. Paragraph 7. We are all going to the forest, his mother told the boys. You must all help your father gather firewood, for there is no money left to buy any food. You can see that before four, there is comma. When there is comma before four, so the meaning of four is because. Like, you must all help your father gather firewood for, because there is no money left to buy any food. The boys were so excited that they completely forgot about their hunger and were in no time on the way to the forest with their father leading. The forest was dark and lonesome. Lonesome means lonely. But the woodcutter knew every bit of it so well that before long they were right in the deepest part of the forest. Now look at the question. What did Mirchu's mother tell the boys in the morning? See, did and tell verb. So it is past indefinite tense. You will write second form of tell, that is told. You can start your answer from Mirchu's mother told the boys in the morning, comma, and then write what did she say. You must all help your father gather firewood, for there is no money left to buy any food. Now, paragraph 8. I will, now they are in the forest. So, father told his sons, I will cut down the small trees, said the woodcutter, and you boys must collect all the branches and tie them into small bundles. It is going to be hard work. Question: what did the woodcutter ask the boys to do? Did, ask. Second form of ask is asked. The woodcutter asked the boys to collect all the branches and tie them into small bundles. Now, paragraph 9. With that, he cut the trees with his axe and set his 7 sons to work. While the boys were gathering as many sticks as they could, the woodcutter nodded to his wife, and the two of them just sneaked away. Sneaked away means they went away quietly. वहां से खिसक गए. The boys felt a kind of shudder. Shudder means shivering. They were shivering because of fear, because they were left alone over there. They began to shout and call for their father, thinking that he might be playing some kind of a trick with them. When, however, he did not appear for quite some time, they really felt frightened, afraid, scared, and began to cry bitterly. Then the clever Mirchu said, Do not worry, boys. I know the way home. All we have to do is to follow the trail, is to follow the path of the white stones. Father isn't going to come. Mirchu's brother, however, doubted means suspected, shakya, what he said. They did not believe him. At this, he repeated what their father had said the night before and told them how he had filled his pockets with stones and dropped them one by one on the way. So Mirchu led his brother through the deep forest. Who led the boys through the deep forest? Who? Here you have to write Mirchu. Mirchu led the boys through the deep forest, or it is written over here. Mirchu led his brothers through the deep forest and along the winding paths और बल खाते हुए रास्तों से वो गुजरा until they reached the cottage. Perhaps we are not going to be welcomed, Mirchu said softly. Let us wait outside the cottage for a while and see if we can hear what father and mother are talking about. When the woodcutter and his wife, so it is the next scene when the woodcutter and his wife sneaked away. So uh, it is the scene, second scene. When the woodcutter and his wife arrived home early that day, they had found 10 silver coins waiting for them. Question is, what did the woodcutter and his wife find when they arrived home? Did find. In answer, you will write second form of find, that is found. So you can start your answer from the woodcutter and his wife found 10 silver coins when they arrived home. This was in payment of a debt curse that they had long forgotten about. At the sight of so much money, the woodcutter's wife wept with joy. But when she remembered that she would never see her boys again, all her joy vanished. Vanished means disappeared, and she began to sob. It means to cry noisily. सिसकियां लेकर उसने रोना शुरू कर दिया. What use was that money to her now? She thought. My sons, my poor little sons, she exclaimed sorrowfully. She exclaimed sadly. What would I not give to have you safely back home? Perhaps by now they might have been eaten by wolves. This was all Mirchu wanted to hear. He pushed the door open and ran to his mother. His brothers followed him too. Don't cry, mother. We are all here, all safe and sound. Question is, what did Mirchu say to his mother? Notice did and say. So in answer, you will write second form of say, that is said. Mirchu said to his mother what he said. You will write after putting comma after mother. Don't cry, mother. We are all here, all safe and sound up till here. What joy and happiness there was in the woodcutter's cottage that night, and what a feast they all had as they sat around the table. What is feast? A sumptuous meal, a splendid meal. The woodcutter, his wife, and all their 7 sons lived happily ever after. Well done, little Mirchu. So the story has a happy ending. Now here is the vocabulary. Glossary means words meanings that you have to learn and then write them in your notebook. And the next activity is question answers. Yes, answer the following questions. Question number 1 is, You see, all are WH questions. Why were the woodcutter's children always hungry? You have to write the reason. And from where you come to know that you have to write answer in past tense. The woodcutter's children were always hungry because they were growing up. Question number 2. Who gave the utmost anxiety to his parents? In answer, we have done already. Mirchu gave the utmost anxiety to his parents. Number 3. Why was the youngest son called Mirchu? Tell the reason. The youngest son was called Mirchu because when he was born, he was the size of a pepper. What did the mother wish when she was so full of sorrow? Did, wish. So in answer, you will write second form of wish. The mother wished that she had only 3 children instead of 7 when she was full of sorrow. Next question. What did Mirchu fill his pockets with? We have done already. Mirchu filled his pockets with small white stones. Then, what did Mirchu's mother tell him in the morning? Mirchu's mother told him in the morning. Then, what did she say? You have to write. The next question is, why did the boys forget their hunger? Did, forget. And second form of verb is forgot. The boys forgot their hunger because they were very excited to go to the forest. Number 8 is, why did the boys begin to weep bitterly? Did, begin. Second form of begin is began. The boys began to weep bitterly when they came to know that their parents had gone, leaving them alone in the forest. The last question is, why did they have a feast in the woodcutter's cottage? Did, and second form of have is had. And you have to tell the reason. They had a feast in the woodcutter's cottage because all were reunited. Now you will be waiting for your home task. Your home task is read chapter 7 carefully and then write the answers of the questions in your notebooks. Learn spellings of difficult words of chapter 7. Learn and write glossary of chapter 7 in the textbook. Solve exercises B, C, and D of chapter 7 on the textbook. That's all from my side. Be prepared for your online discussion lesson. For that purpose, you have to see exercise and revise the chapter. Allah Hafiz, stay blessed.